Some stories simply defy explanation. Life presents us with real challenges, and I found myself in the middle of one of them. My wife, with whom I shared my life, decided to leave for her boss. I watched her walk away, leaving me with a broken heart. But what happened a month later shook me to my core. My wife returned in tears, heartbroken. In this video, I will tell you an amazing story of infidelity, where fate plays its dangerous game and drama unfolds at the most unexpected moment. Are you ready to dive into this world where love and betrayal collide, and tears heal and destroy at the same time? Prepare to be immersed in a story where secrets are revealed and decisions have unpredictable consequences. Welcome to Amazing Tales of Betrayal and Destiny Drama, where each step leads us into the unknown and reveals our darkest sides. Get comfortable and we begin. I don't know what to do right now. I'm both eager and prickly, and my mother won't let me. No, on the contrary, my mother is telling me to. Okay, I'll start at the beginning. I'm Yuri. I'm 33 years old. I've been married to my wife for 10 years and have a 6-year-old son. Lida and I were in the same group at university, and I'll tell you right away, her character, I admit, is not good. She always thought she was right in everything, even if it was not so. All turn upside down and get out of the water with a dog. And our relationship didn't start out that way right away either. All the years we studied together, she couldn't stand me, as it seemed to me. And I myself have a soft character. I could not always fight back. In general, as they say, was such a bad guy knave, trusting, try to avoid conflict. And besides, I was going for a red diploma. I was a straight A student. Though I am not ugly, but I confess honestly, I did not have success with girls. You would not believe, remained a virgin until the age of 23. Lidka, on the contrary, was the first beauty, almost glamorous, and she could twist guys as she wanted. Although I always liked her, I did not think she was a dream come true. And now, in 5th year, at one of the student parties, I decided to take revenge on her for her endless mockery of me, just grabbed her and forcibly kissed her on the lips. She was taken aback at first and then laughed. I thought she was going to beat me, but she just folded in half with laughter. She was laughing at how I did not know how to kiss her and was not able to. She asked, "Virgin, go?" I blushed and said yes. This amused her even more, and as if she woke up as a sporting interest, she by then already had a decent sexual experience. From the party, we were already walking together. On the way, I bought flowers, took champagne and candy, and she dragged me to her rented apartment. Yes, where I first came to know a woman. During that sleepless night, she taught me all the wisdom of this art. Yes, she was the first and only woman. Then a little pro dated and began to live together, to work, and stayed at the place of practice after graduation. And she did not go in their specialty, became the administrator of a nightclub. We got married. Then I started my career. Together with my parents, I bought a 2-room apartment, and then my son was born. She went on maternity leave, then the nightclub was closed, and for a long time, Lida did not work. She was occupied with the house and the baby. The money I earned was enough for us. We lived well. I admired my family and did everything for them. I indulged my wife in everything. Relationships began to deteriorate when she found a job. Not right away, but 6 months after that. Although I dissuaded her, she would not listen. Says first of all boring, and secondly the family budget to double. And so lately I began to notice that something with her is not right. From extreme to extreme, the tide of tenderness and affection, then vice versa anger and annoyance. However, her reproaches, tantrums, and scenes on an even keel, I have already got used to. And then she was delayed at work, calls, and secrets, and then she said she was going on a business trip for 10 days. That is the way I deduced her in the clear. How? And now I will tell you. I talked to her colleague and found out that no one had ever sent her on a business trip. and that she had taken a vacation at her own expense. Her colleague told me that she had been having an affair with the deputy director for a long time, and everyone knows about it. He even left his family because of her, and now they are on vacation in Turkey. But it was a top secret, even though the whole office already knew about it, knew and whispered about it even under pain of being fired. I felt as if the ground had fallen from under my feet. When she came back, she understood everything from my reaction. She said, "Well, it's good that you know everything." And then I could not find the words how to make you aware. Said that she had met another man, that they were serious, that after the divorce she would leave the apartment to me, and that I could see my son whenever I wanted. She asked me not to blame anybody, it was just the way life was. Yuri. She seldom called me by my first name, except in bed, and not always. People come and go, that I am not an old man yet, I will meet my fate. Anyway, I took the baby's things and left. The world just collapsed for me, the family was always in the first place for me, and then in an instant I lost everything, even the meaning of life. I drank for 3 days without a hitch, and before that I had never used alcohol at all. I did not go to work until the boss came to my house and shook me up. At work I did everything on automatic, I forgot about everyday life, the house was a mess. My mother came over a couple of times to console me. In general I withdrew. I did not even want to see my son. 3 weeks passed. When I came back from work, I saw that the apartment was clean and tidy, the floors were washed, my clothes were washed and ironed, the fridge was full of food, all the alcohol that I had was gone. I didn't give it much thought, figured my mother had stopped by. I called, and she said it wasn't her. The next day, I found my son alone at home. I felt like a pig that I had stupidly forgotten about the child because of my worries. We spent the whole weekend together. On Monday, I took him to daycare. That same day, when I came home from work, I found Loida at home. She was sorting out her things. When I asked what you were doing here, she unforced and calmly replied, "Actually, I live here." Yura, you probably forgot that this is my apartment too. I reminded her that after the divorce, she promised to leave the apartment to me, but she brazenly replied that I changed my mind. And about the divorce, that was up to me. I didn't understand anything at all. I decided that her lover had cheated her, took advantage of her, and threw her out by finding a fresher object. Then, I said, "I'm leaving." I called my mother and told her that Lidka was back, but I didn't want to live with her after her rite of passage and was moving in with her. But my mother answered me with a firm refusal, saying that I should be glad that the family was back, that when my father had left her for a young mistress, she had done everything. Made every effort to bring my father back into the family, and that when he died 3 years ago of cancer, she buried him, not the mistress. And I didn't even fight for her or do anything. Didn't fight to get her back. Just drank and flushed my life down the toilet. Anyway, my mother said that she would only let me visit her with my daughter-in-law and her grandson. Well, the woman was confused. She made a mistake. It happens. We are all not without sin, and that I should forgive her. I passed out in my heart and said, "Well, don't stay, the hell with you," and went to bed in a separate room. That same night he came to me, and the male instinct took over. And feelings had not had time to cool down. I will not deceive myself. I did not stop loving her even after her betrayal. Anyway, we had. About the same as on our honeymoon. When it was over, we both lay there in silence for a long time. Then I asked her why she came back. The lover had left, and then she tells me she dumped him. I said, why would she catch him with another fling? He decided to go back to his wife and kids, or he promised to get married and cheated. She sharply answered, "You are a fool, Yura. You didn't understand a damn thing, and you are a candidate of science." She told him that he had asked her to marry him, but she turned him down. Why? Because she couldn't get me out of her mind. She thought about me every day, how I was hungry and filthy here alone. I said I didn't believe her, and I don't have to take her word for it. She slipped me her smartphone, and from the correspondence I realized that her lover was offering her everything in the world. He promised to make her golden, happy, begged her not to come back to me, to which she replied that happiness is not in the gold, and if her husband does not forgive her, she will raise her son alone. While I was reading this correspondence, of course it was disgusting to read it all, I heard her burst into tears. I could not believe my eyes. In all the time I had known her, I had never once seen her cry. I asked her why she had done that. Because of money, because of her career. She replied that no, she and her lover had the same position in the firm. He wooed beautifully, romance, and she apparently confused passion with love. And then she asked for forgiveness. For the first time, I again begged her forgiveness, saying that she realized how much she loved me. And so, I want to turn to you, dear listeners. How should I go? With all her appearance, she shows that she repents, that she made a mistake, that she stumbled. I am not going to lie, I do love her still, and I would very much like to believe her and forget her betrayal. But I don't know if I can. I've never been with anybody else in my whole life except her. And what can I say? I've never even kissed anybody else in my whole life except her. I told her I can't do it right away, that I need time. I feel bad without her too. But after everything, in short, I don't know what to do, so please advise me. Friends, dear listeners, I want to say a few words from myself too. You know, when I first read this story somewhere in the middle, I was firmly convinced that this is a specific 9 on our scale of the stag. But then reading to the end, again for the first time, I thought, hell, yes, the man just converts, but here is his situation. The woman is apparently really interesting, so to speak, really nachaliashi, and plus he has won. It certainly is a very hard mistake, to put it mildly. And that's what happened, so, yes, asking for advice, in principle still some kind of reindeer deed, he essentially did not commit. Well, okay, let's own it. Except that he let his wife into the house, listened to his mommy, and slept with her, with one I mean. So, what I would like to say, dear author, unfortunately, whatever it is, practice shows that people never change, and where there was once, there will be a second, and third, and fourth, and so on, until the couple breaks up, until one of the partners gets tired of it and leaves the family. As a rule, women do it less often, but judging by your Fire Lady, she is quite free to make her own decisions. You have to realize that this is all very easy to set up. Correspondence, some promises, not promises, it's not important. You saw in the correspondence that he was offering her the mountains of gold. He was asking her not to come back. Maybe she was pressuring him to marry her quickly, like, Allah, I'll go back to my ex, and that's it. Goodbye, darling. And he asked her at that time, and so they got together. You probably did not look at the date of sending these messages, and so they got together. Maybe he got tired of playing around and decided to change it all, so to speak, at the root. After which the wifey quickly retreated and returned to the warm and cozy house, which, I take it, judging by your story, did not smell particularly good at the time of her return. Now you are just a tool to help her achieve her goals. Her main goals as a woman is to raise her son, is to have a family, shelter over her head, food, and all the good of humanity, so to speak. It's okay. No way, nor I hope no other listener is judging that. So, in your place would be to take the eggs in their hands and run. Run as fast as they can, as they say, because you are waiting for the same fate. I do not know, 2 years, well, maximum, but maybe even faster, and maybe this lover then will start for her. Again courting, again pruderate, and now she, poor woman, again mistake passion for love. Oh God, how sweet and romantic. Oh, I cannot. This is of course all jokes. Actually, wishing you strength and courage, patience and determination to take the first step and leave the man who does not love you and who has already betrayed you, who betrayed once will betray you again. So I wish you good luck and fortitude. And now onto the second story. Clasp your eyes and imagine the most unbelievable plot imaginable. My life was torn apart when I found out about my wife's secret affair with her boss. A desire to know the truth led me to take a risk, and I followed them to their apartment. What I saw there left me in complete shock. My wife was sleeping with her boss, like a secret they kept from me. I was left a mute witness to this betrayal, and my heart was torn apart. In this video, I will tell you the amazing story of a cheating wife, where jealousy and betrayal intertwine and the dramas of fate reach their climax. Are you ready to dive into this world where secrets are revealed and decisions have unpredictable consequences? Get ready for a journey where truth and lies merge and fate plays its dangerous game. Welcome to amazing stories of wife cheating and fate drama, where nothing stays hidden and every move can change everything. Hi all. I read a lot of different stories after finding out, talking to a psychologist, and came to this conclusion. If anyone thinks that after a wife has another man, then change her behavior, her attitude to her husband deteriorates, or that she is always looking for a reason to fight, then I tell you, my dear, it is a myth. I am 37. My wife is 6 months younger than me. There are 2 children. The older is 14, and the youngest is 11 years. A total of 16 years we lived with her. Yes, there was everything, and quarrels mostly because of lack of money, lack of housing, the first time, and had to flounder in rental apartments and live with their parents, cramped. But now we have everything in a 4-room apartment and a comfortable life, and we both work, not luxurious, of course, but enough to live and raise children. Found out that she was cheating on me accidentally in the evening after dinner. My daughter was asleep. My son went to his virtual world. She came later than usual, said she was not hungry, and rushed into the bathroom. She had a second phone, and the existence of which I did not know. She was carrying it in the bottom of the bag, and the smell forgot to turn off. Her phone was on the nightstand in the hallway, and the sound of sums came from the clutch. She herself was in the bathroom. I was not in the habit of fumbling there. I am not in the habit of snooping around, checking, reading other people's correspondence. But here I decided to curiosity, grabbed it. There it was, right back when you were coming. On Friday, I am waiting there at the same time. Kiss you, my baby. I shoved the phone back. Just earth was leaving under my feet. I felt dark in the eyes. I poured myself a Corvidal and drank in a gulp. She came out of the bathroom as if nothing had happened. I wished through my teeth for a nice steam. She asked me what about sex tonight. I said that I was in a bad mood. I decided not to throw a fit and checked everything properly. I took Friday off from work and I spent the whole day in the car. I rented a car for the day. I left mine as a deposit near her work at 3 p.m. She left the office building where she worked. I followed her. She caught a car and drove. I followed them. You cannot imagine what a jerk I felt. I stooped to the point that I started watching my wife. In general, I felt like a jerk. I stooped down and started watching my wife. She went to a Peking Duck. It's a restaurant. They were waiting for her. They hugged and kissed, far from friendly. They sat there for about an hour. Then they hugged each other and got into his Touareg and drove off. They stopped near a house and hugged each other and went in. I decided to go home and talk to her. She came back at 10 p.m. We put the kids to bed, and then I showed her everything. She denied as she could. I misunderstood everything. And what right did I have to follow her? It was not a man's action. What right did I have to go through her things? Blah, blah, blah. But eventually she confessed under my pressure. This has been going on for years. For all this time, I had no thoughts to suspect her of anything. No outward signs were not. Asked me what I was dissatisfied with, was lined, fed, pampered. Children do not suffer without motherly attention, which I do not like. He is married with 3 children, and the family is not going to leave. Says that I am very good, that I love and family is a priority for her, but she should also have her own outlet, her personal space, and that sexual fidelity is not the main thing in family relationships. I asked her what she specifically does not like about me. She answers that everything is fine, But she is not like everyone else, just polygamous. For her intimacy, one man is not enough. She met exclusively with married men, without any commitment. With one she had a novel for a year and a half. We broke up on her initiative, as he began to offer her to leave me. He left the family for her. The other one was for 2 years. They broke up because he started sticking his nose into her family life and asking too many unnecessary questions about her relationship with her husband, that is, with me, and decided that he had more rights over her than me. Now he meets with a business partner of their company where she works. It started in her a year after the birth of her daughter, saying that at first I just climbed up the wall from the fact that I was ashamed to look myself in the eyes. I was disgusted. If it were not for the children, she would have tried to kill herself. She went to psychologists and psychiatrists. She even went to a sex therapist, to witches, to magicians, but all to no avail. At the most, she was satisfied for 6 months, and then she just started to go crazy. Now she says that once everything is cleared up, she will accept any of my decisions. If I decide to divorce her, she says that she will understand me. But she also says that the doctors told her that she can get over it at any time, that she is stupid. She was afraid that I would not understand her. If she would have told me everything at once, maybe with my support, we would have solved this problem together. She hid it all carefully not to hurt me, and if she turned off the phone, I would not know anything. And that she loves only me and those men just for the sake of intimacy and diversity of communication. I asked her if she was afraid to infect me. She said she chose only married, with a normal status and without contraception need, nor, in general, a month has passed. I have not yet decided anything about her. We sleep in separate rooms. She constantly roars. I have to calm her down so the children do not see. The children love her very much and love me, of course, as a mother she is, I admit honestly. Just great as a wife. You know, just a sin to complain, not in the economy, not in intimate life. Sometimes the initiative has gone from her. Very risky in this regard. The only thing is that with respect to none of me, neither I nor she have their own place. We have wrestled this apartment to pieces, both of them. She with 2 children also has nowhere to go. Her parents live with her older sister. She and her husband and child are like herrings in a barrel. If I go to my place, there is no work at all. The children will suffer. My son and daughter have a room to tear them away from their usual place. I don't know what to do. I consulted many such psychological forms. They say get a divorce. Don't live like neighbors. Let her go on living. You live your life, and a woman with a crib will come along and leave. I really love her and see how she is suffering. She says she loves me, and I believe her. Just saying that she cannot hold back and control her vagrancy. But I also do not intend to put up with it. And the other day I checked in with my friend. We studied together at the same institute. After that he went to another country. But from time to time, you know, there are people with whom you do not communicate. And then you write hello or drop a link to some news, and the conversation continues like yesterday. He says, how life? Well, I told him everything, as I have almost no friends here on the ground, especially those with whom you can share details, and he lives far away, and we have known each other for over 20 years. I told him everything and he comforted me. Now I will read you his message. Hello, buddy. I sincerely sympathize with you, as I myself have gone through all this nightmare. Now I will probably be summarized, but the meaning will try to make it as clear as possible. I say at once that will be difficult, but it will help if you get into it and do everything correctly. And so, having broken the situation into the boxes, I made here what global conclusions. The first, most important, forget now while you will read it. And in the fact of infidelity, think someone then. You just need to accept life and its gifts as they are, and not try to adjust the real world to your vision. This is very important. It must be accepted as a given. Say in winter, we do not put swimsuits on the street because we really want sun. We understand that it is cold. In this case, it is the same. I and you have a definite attitude to life, to people, how they should behave in this or that case. In our version, the wife. You thought that it is impossible to cheat, but it turned out not so. She cheated. And it doesn't matter why. Don't look for the guilty. Don't blame yourself or her. It happened. Treat it not from the perspective of your wife, but from the perspective of your life situation. Life in this matter turned out not to be like you or I thought. So you, like me, or wrong. This is the whole point, and you just have to accept it. Again, you have to accept that we can be wrong in our view of life. It's difficult, yes, but it's necessary. Second, here's the other thing that makes your brain boil. The thing is that you, just like me, try to treat this person the same way you did before. But it doesn't work, really. I thought for a long time why, and suddenly it hit me, attention, this man is gone. He died, in his place now a completely different person. An exact copy of the one you or I loved. But it is a copy. It is not him. Your beloved wife died. It must be accepted. Then the brain stops giving itself mutually exclusive water, and from this boil. Otherwise, you may become insane. There is no such person anymore. Bury her for yourself with honors or whatever. I, for example, went to a cafe in the evening and did it all alone, said goodbye to her, said I would love her all my life, in my mind naturally, and said goodbye. The result is that your brain, after these difficult but not long procedures, my brain came to its senses very quickly. The depression is gone. I completely reoriented. If before the first place for me was her, now it is work and children whom I love very much. I am not going to look for great love, because it does not exist. All women are very much the same and spend the rest of my life on them. I'm not going to. If there will be passion with pleasure, I will be involved. But no more. I will raise children. I did not divorce. We lived together. Somehow I did not give a damn. I don't get divorced. I live together. I don't care what she thinks about me and so on. I have changed myself completely inside, and my priorities have changed and some have disappeared. I am not mad at her. I am not offended. I can only say she is stupid. Sometimes I even feel sorry for her. She seems to understand it herself. Stay with her or split up. It's up to you to decide, but try to fulfill 2 points. It helped me and broke the deadlock. And even if you divorce, do not look for great love. It does not exist. Treat women as they deserve. I do not mean rudeness, of course. You cannot let them into your heart. Categorically, come to yourself. Love yourself as you once loved her. The strength to you, my friend, dear listeners. It seems to me there is nothing to add after such advice of his friend. It seems to me, if you do not agree, well, excuse me, the strongest text, which probably should have been somehow fixed on the channel. Do not you think so? What do you think? How to deal with this text? How to bring it to as many people as possible? Men who are faced with his wife's infidelity, I think it would help a lot. I share this technique. I agree with its effectiveness. I will not say why. I will ask you, friends, give your advice to today's story, today's author, as he asks for it. And I want to thank you for watching our videos. Put your likes, comments, and also subscribe to the channel. It is very important for its development. Thank you for this. See you soon.